What's good, beautiful people? Welcome to my channel. If you are seeing this face for the very first time, my name is Shella and I am an admitted attorney of the High Court of South Africa, and you are most welcome here. To my returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back. I truly appreciate you being here. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the steps you take to become an attorney in South Africa. I will be explaining from the time you leave high school up until the time you get admitted. I'll be explaining the whole process and what it is that needs to be done for you to become an attorney in South Africa. I'm hoping that this video will get to answer a lot of questions that I get on this channel regarding articles. What comes first, articles or PLT? What about VAC work? What about BA and BCom law students? Can they also apply to be admitted attorneys? All of those questions will be answered here in this video. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it.
Now listen, daughter, pay attention, pray and listen, hear your father.
Number one on the list, you need to have a great APS so that you get admission into university. Now, if you are still in high school, you need to work hard so that your marks are good and you will get admission in order to study law at university. The APS requirements for law are quite high, so be mindful of that. Check the university that you want to enroll in and check what the APS is, and make sure that you work hard and you do your best and you get enrolled. That's the first and foremost step. Number two, you have to complete an LLB degree from a recognized university in South Africa. If you have studied BA law or BCom law, you have to do your LLB as an addition. So you cannot be admitted as an attorney of the High Court if you have your BCom law or your BA law only, because with those degrees, you can't even get articles. So if you have a BCom or BA law degree, make sure that you do your LLB in addition. And if you just have your LLB, that is sufficient because that's the minimum requirement. So when you enroll to university, it's not that you have to start with your BA or your BCom law degree. The LLB is the minimum requirement. So even if you just have an LLB degree, that's still sufficient for you to be an attorney in South Africa. Number three on the list is vacation work. Now, this is not a requirement, but I think that it'll be advantageous for you to do VAC work. So VAC work is vacation work. That is you volunteering at a law firm during your school holidays just to get a practical feel of what it's like to be an attorney. Now, this is very good because you get to follow the attorney around in court. You get to see the papers that they draft. Some attorneys will even let you, draft something and they can correct you and say, this is not how you do it. This is the actual way of doing it. Teaching you the practical side of things. Now, this is advantageous because it sets you apart. It really does, because when you have that VAC work on your CV, the people who are going to employ you just see that you are different from someone who doesn't have any practical experience. You stand out because it shows that you have been wanting this. That's why you went out to do VAC work as well. And another thing that is quite advantageous, in my opinion, is that when you go back to varsity and you continue with your studies, even learning concepts becomes slightly better because you've seen it play out in real life, as opposed to somebody who is just imagining things. Everything for them is just a scenario. For you, you've attended a consultation, you have been to court, you have seen some of these things play out. The next advantage is that if everything goes well for you, you can get your articles of clerkship at that very firm that you did your vacation work in. Now, for anyone who has done articles of clerkship, they will tell you that getting articles is not easy. So when you have already built that connection, when you've already established some sort of connection with a law firm, it is easier for you to reach out to them and say, look, I'm done with my LLB. Can I come and do my articles of clerkship there? In most cases than not, they will usually take you. So if everything goes well, then you get to do your articles there, saving you the time and stress of looking for another firm to do your articles in. So vacation work happens when you are in varsity. Then you graduate. After graduating, this is what would usually happen. If you cannot get articles of clerkship, you can go to law school and do your PLT. But if you do get articles, then you do your articles of clerkship with PLT, so you do it simultaneously. So I'm going to be explaining the PLT first and then articles of clerkship. So if you do not have articles of clerkship, you don't have to sit around and just wait for articles. You can do your PLT in the meantime. So PLT is practical legal training. This is a course that the Legal Practice Council has put together for prospective attorneys. So this course, you'll be learning really essential things pertaining to the practice of an attorney. So you will attend this. You can attend this full-time or you can do it part-time. Now, part-time will be for people who are doing their articles of clerkship. But if you do not have articles of clerkship yet, you can do PLT full-time. So PLT is a requirement. At the end of it all, when you have to apply to be admitted as an attorney of the High Court, you need to show that you have attended PLT, because once you are done with PLT, you receive a certificate. So PLT is a requirement. You cannot go without doing it. So you will go onto the Legal Practice Council website and see the dates for when PLT starts. You pay the required amount and you will receive the material and attend the classes. Once you have attended the classes, the Legal Practice Council will deem it that you have completed PLT. You have completed law school. The examination part of things is a different thing. I'll explain it further on in the video. But PLT is essentially the course that is compulsory that you have to attend. And after you attend that course, you will get a certificate from the Legal Practice Council stating that you have attended the full course and you have met that requirement. So number 5, articles of clerkship. These are practicals. When you finish with your LLB degree, you only do your articles after graduating with your LLB degree. Now, when you start your articles, for some people, you will have PLT because maybe you have struggled to get articles and during the time of your struggle, you decided to do PLT. So for some people, when you start articles of clerkship, you have completed PLT. And for some people, you have not. Articles of clerkship, that is basically practicals, like an apprenticeship. So how you go about it is that you apply to a law firm, like how you would apply for any other job, and the law firm takes you and you complete your articles of clerkship there. Now, this is 2 years. You do your practicals for 2 years. But if you have completed your PLT before starting with articles, you can do it for 1 year. So when you have received that offer and you are in the law firm has agreed that you are now their article clerk, you enter into a contract with the Legal Practice Council as well as your firm. So you will download this form off of the site, the Legal Practice Council website, and then you fill in the form and you attach the required attachment, and your principal at the firm that you are in signs for you and fills in a couple of things, and then you take it to the Legal Practice Council, and the Legal Practice Council gets to check if the firm is legit and everything else, and then they will register the contract, and then they will send you confirmation that we have registered the contract. Now, this confirmation is important because you're going to need that when you apply to be admitted as an attorney of the High Court to show that you have done your articles. You pay a fee for that contract to be registered, and that fee is 345 Rand. Contract is registered and you're doing your articles of clerkship. You do this for 2 years or 1 year if you already have PLT. Now, during your articles of clerkship, that's when you get to do your PLT. This is for people who have not done it already. You do your PLT while doing articles. Now, when you do your PLT while doing articles, you're doing it part-time. You're not doing it full-time. So part-time, you will get some time off of work from your principal and you'll get to attend lectures if need be. So like I said, these are practicals. You are now working in a law firm. These are not practicals like how it is conducted in university, where it's practicals, like it's scenarios. No, these are not scenarios. These are real life cases because you're working in a real life law firm. It's not imagine you are working for, no, you are working for a law firm. So you get to go to court, you get to draft certain pleadings and documents, notices. So it is you experiencing what being an attorney is like for real. So after 3 months of starting with your articles, you can request your right of appearance in the district court from the Legal Practice Council, and they'll give it to you. That will give you the right to represent persons for matters in the district court. After 6 months, you request a right of appearance for the regional court from the law society like you did with the district one, and then you will receive it, and then this gives you the right to represent persons in the district court. Now, those are the only right of appearances that you will have in the magistrate court. At that point, when you're still doing your articles of clerkship, you are not able to represent persons in the higher court. So in the high court, in the Supreme Court of Appeal, in the Constitutional Court, you do not have a right of appearance for there. Therefore, you are unable to represent persons there. So when you are doing your articles of clerkship, you are able to appear for matters in the magistrate court. Now, the next one is community service. This one is a new requirement. When I was doing my articles of clerkship, we did not have to do community service. Now, community service is a requirement. You cannot do without it. Meaning that when you get to apply to be an attorney of the High Court of South Africa, you need to show that you have also completed community service in accordance with the Legal Practice Act. You must render at least 8 hours of community service, and this 8 hours must be supervised by your principal. So you're doing your articles of clerkship, you've got your PLT, now comes board exams, comes the dreaded board exams. You have to write board exams. There's no two ways of going about it. If you don't write board exams, you cannot be admitted as an attorney of the High Court. So board exams are exams, and it's 4 papers that you have to write. You have to write all 4. But when you write your board exams, you can pick and choose what to write. So in one sitting, you can decide to write paper 1 only, or you can write paper 1 and paper 2, or paper 1 and paper 4, or all 4 papers. So you get to choose how many papers you write and which papers you get to write. So it doesn't have to be by order. You can start by saying, I'll write paper 4, or I'll write paper 4 and paper 2. Paper 1 is court procedure, paper 2 is wills and estate, paper 3 is attorney's practice, but it is commonly known as ethics, and then paper 4 is bookkeeping, that is legal accounting. So these are the 4 papers that you need to write. With these 4 papers, if you fail, you get to write them again, you get to rewrite, and the pass mark for these papers is 50%. So if you get a mark of, let's say, 48.9%, and you want to take your paper for a remark, you're able to do that. And with a remark, there's no minimum mark that you need to qualify for in order for you to get a remark. So even if you get 16% in the paper, you can still apply for a remark, but then it wouldn't be wise for you to apply for a remark if you had 16%. If you couldn't even get to 45, I don't think a remark is a good idea. And you have to pay for a remark. So you don't just apply for a remark, there's an amount that you pay, and then your paper will be remarked. And then if you get between 40% and 49%, that is a little bit short of 50%, you qualify for an oral exam. So with the oral exam, you do not have to pay. And with an oral exam, it's also not compulsory. You can decide not to go for the oral exam. You can say, I don't want to do the oral exam. I can write in the next sitting, and that's okay. If you don't go for the oral exam, then it will be deemed as though you have failed. So once you're done with PLT, once you have completed your articles of clerkship, community service, and your board exams, that is when you will be eligible to apply to be admitted as an attorney of the High Court of South Africa. You prepare an application, an ex parte application to the High Court of South Africa in order for you to be enrolled, to be put on the roll of attorneys. This application includes a notice of motion and an affidavit from your principal confirming your affidavit, stating that you have completed all the requirements, and since they are party to the contract that you registered at the law society, their affidavit needs to be there. Essentially, you prepare your admission papers, and then once everything is done, what I love about this part is that no matter how stressful it is, the law society helps you in that they will send you an email and say you haven't met this requirement, or you need to include certain requirements, or your application is short of A, B, and C, and then you get to amend it, and then until it is correct. You will never get to appear before the court if your papers are not correct. The Legal Practice Council will keep on sending you back and forth until they send you an email that confirms that your papers are correct. So for some people, they've had to amend their papers quite a number of times. Fortunately, I got to amend mine once. It is because I did not state whether I'll be working at that firm or if I'm employed or unemployed. That part I didn't put. So they sent me back and they said, you need to tell us if you are employed, unemployed, or what is going on. And then obviously I had to amend, and then I took it there, and then they sent my confirmation to say, yes, everything is correct, your papers are good, you are now ready to enter into this profession. With the papers, yes, the drafting of the papers can be quite stressful for some, but what I like is that the Legal Practice Council will send you back and forth until your papers are correct. And that is it. That is how you become an attorney in South Africa. Number one, you need a good APS so that you get admission into university in South Africa. Number two, your LLB degree. Your LLB degree is the minimum requirement. You study your LLB degree at a recognized university in South Africa. Number three, which is optional, it is vacation work. You don't have to do it, but like I said, I think it's good you do. Number four is PLT, that is law school. Number five is articles of clerkship. Those are your practicals for 2 years or 1 year, depending. And then number six, that is community work. That's the new requirement now. You have to do your community work that is supervised by your principal. Number seven is board exams. Must write board exams. You can't not write board exams. You pass board exams. And then number eight, you prepare your admission papers. That is it. Those are the steps as to how you can become an attorney in South Africa. I hope that I've answered your questions. Those that have had questions on this channel, I hope that this video has answered your questions. And those of you who are new, I hope that this video has been informative and insightful. That is it. No extra stuff, no addition, no subtracting. These are the minimum requirements. And I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on my next one. And I'm sending you tons of love and light. Bye.